Now that we've got the click tracking
Going.
let's set up the time-based one. So if we come here and we look at this, hooray, we've got click-based going. Yes, let's move on to time-based. So for this one, we're going to need to know the player position. We'll need to know how much time has passed since the last event that we did, and the accumulative time of player being in the level. So let's go to, I did it again. I did it again, the wrong alt tab. Where am I? I'm in player. I want to be in Analytics Manager, and I will copy and paste the click-based player path. So now we can have player path time-based. This one is not going to need to have a click position. It is going to need to have a few other things involved. So I'm going to leave this blank for now because I am on the fly changing my draft code to being a different style. And I hope this works.
We'll get it working.
So we don't want a click counter, but let's get rid of that altogether. Here we go. Player path time-based. We're going to get our base attributes of that. We're going to put in the player position at this time. So if we're going to we need to know where the player was after a particular period of time. And if we're going to get that, then we need to get access to the player somehow. But if we look at the player, and do a player find all references. You can see I've already done it down the bottom. Find all references. We've got 0 references to the player class anywhere. So currently we can't find out what the player's position is unless we look for the player object within the scene and then pull it out. But instead of doing that, we are going to come to Level Manager, and the Level Manager has the player in it. So we will put in here public game object player avatar.
Okay.
So that means in our Analytics Manager, we can now go level manager .instance .player avatar .position transform .position .x, y, and z. So take that and replace these three. Now here's a cool trick if anyone doesn't know this one. If you hold Shift and Alt, and instead of moving sideways, you can move downwards and then select a whole block of stuff.
What?
And then paste straight over the top of all of them, and then you can replace multiple lines at once.
That's pretty crazy.
Did you know that one, Nick?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
What?
Fancy cool tricks. It works in Visual Studio. It doesn't work in Visual Studio Code, unfortunately.
You could probably get an add-on or something for it.
Yeah, I really wish it did, because in Visual Studio Code you press Shift Alt down and it just copy and pastes the line for you. And I was like, no, I need to do copy pasting all around. Anyway, rightio. So that's going to get us the player's position at the time that they do something. The time-based event happens. So let's change this event to a different name. So Control R, and we'll call it player path time. That'll do it. What do we want to have in this guy here? We've got the player position. We need to know the time passed and the accumulative time. So let's put some more trackers inside of here. Public float player path time-based threshold. So every so many seconds we will trigger the next tracking event.
Right. Okay.
And then we'll also keep track of the accumulative time. Cumulative.
And so we can assign values to that from Unity?
Yes.
Cool.
So then we'll come to inside of Reset Analytics. We'll say the accumulative is equal to 0. It's a float, so we'll be good boys and put 0.0f. The threshold will be set already, and so inside of update, which this doesn't have an update right now, but we'll put in void update. Now I don't think I covered this one for you, Nick. Every time you call update, it will it's a magic method that automatically gets called for you inside of Unity.
Okay, so you can override that for... Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it turns out I already had one down here for P. Whoops, because I forgot we put that in there. So we don't need Nick's event in here anymore. Nick, you can go away.
Oh.
Don't leave the room. Stay. Yeah, so this happens automatically as often as it can.
Yep.
So inside of here, I don't actually like that it's at the bottom, so I'm going to take it back up to the top. And collapse start. And here, we'll say, boom, 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 boom. If we're going to have a threshold, we need to keep track of where we are up to inside of the timer. So we'll put this. Current time. Here we go. So player pass time base current time plus equal to time dot delta time. So how much time has passed since the last time we hit this method. Then we can say if the current time is bigger than or equal to the threshold, then that means we should trigger our tracking event. So it's been long enough, let's call the next tracking event, which is time-based. And inside of this one, we are going to need to also have a cumulative be passed in, but we're already got access to this variable, so we shouldn't actually need to pass in anything to it. We do want to do player path cumulative plus equal to time dot delta time.
Then should player path time-based method, should that be public?
We can make it private.
Yeah, probably private, yeah.
Okay, what else do we want to do in this one? The current time, because we have now gone over the threshold, we should set itself back to 0.0f so that we'll now re-begin the counter.
Yep.
Let's go to time-based tracking and set you to private. Whoa. What else do we want to add into this one? So the attributes we want to add into this are, we don't need a click counter, but I'm going to copy and paste it anyway because I wasn't thinking. Get rid of all these, get rid of all these, and we know we want to have the accumulative time. So time accumulative is equal to, I should just be able to put in accumulative and it'll figure itself out. Yes,
yeah.
dot to string.
Nice.
Now this one can pass in as many decimal points as it wants. I'm perfectly fine with that. It was because it's not going to be used for back in display, a positional display. That was only for player that we wanted to do that with, which was there. So we'll leave you as accumulative. Can't think anymore. What else do we want? The delta time pass. So we'll also pass in the threshold. In case we decide to change our analytics threshold amount, we can see if that affects anything. Threshold, which is now going to be threshold, hooray. What else do we want in here? We've got the, whoops, so now we've got the position, the time passed, and the accumulative time.
Cool.
So we don't need click counter in this case, or time-based threshold counter. How many times we've triggered it every single time?
Yeah.
Well, we could put it in there, or we could just do accumulative time divided by delta time passed and see what event it was up to. But really, it's not so much of an issue in this case. How many times have we triggered it? We're just looking for how much time has the player been in the level for.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave that off.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so what else do we need in this case? I don't think we need anything else. No, we'll get rid of those two, which means we now need to put in a metric, which is going to be player path time based. That should be all we need for this method. So now we can jump into Unity and it should all be getting tracked for us, but nothing's going to happen right now because the level manager doesn't have the player avatar assigned yet. So into Unity and into level manager, and where's my player? There it is, player avatar. So I'll drag player over to that. And that should be everything. Hooray! Oh, wait, we forgot to set the threshold. Analytics manager, click counter, that's fine. Now our name's pretty long, so threshold we want that to be, let's do it every 2 seconds for now. Do it. Do it. Yeah.
Cool.
1, 2.
Oh, cool. Look at the... You can see,
so you can see these counting up as well. So we've been in level for 12 seconds, 14 seconds, and it's counting up. Alright, and we'll jump down and see what we've got. 16, yes.
I like that. That's cool.
18, 20,
Nice.
22, 24. So that's working perfectly fine, I believe. Or no, there's one problem.
Oh.
We haven't actually started the level yet, so it shouldn't be
okay.
counting itself. So we'll go back to the level manager. Level manager? No, analytics manager. And we'll say into the update if level manager.instance.state current is equal to level manager state.playing. So only keep on doing this time-based tracking if we've been in the level long enough. But if we're not if we are playing the level. And now we'll come back and try that again. Good, nothing's happening. The game is playing because the enemy's moving. We'll press click to start the game.
Yeah, so every 2 cool, we did it.
Time-based is doing itself, and if we click, we should see
Nice.
click-based tracking as well. So clicks and times are both happening.
Yeah.
Alright,
Awesome.
that
Cool.
is all we need for this video. So any questions, Nick?
No.
Great, let's finish this one off.